Hi everybody, my name is David Chambers. I'm the Rugby Development Officer here at Queen's. So we're joined today by the two Conors here. We've got Conor McMenimen, give us a wave, and Conor Mckee. So we're just going to talk a wee bit about our elite athlete program. Okay, so Conor and Conor here are our two most recent guys on our elite athlete program at Queen's. So hopefully we're just going to ask a wee bit of questions about their time at Queen's, a little bit about their course, and also sort of about their background in rugby as well, and sort of what's got them to here. Okay, so hopefully this will help you if you're a prospective student at Queen's looking to maybe come in the next academic year. Applications for the EAP program on the academy will be out soon. So hopefully this video might help and just give you an insight into these two guys' time. So we'll see. So I just want to talk a wee bit about your early days in rugby. So I suppose Conor Mckee, like, where'd you start playing? Why'd you start playing? And yeah, I suppose just take us up to your school days maybe in rugby.
Yeah, started at CI over in East Belfast there. Started when I was about probably 8 or 9, and played right through until I was going into secondary school, and then I went to Sullivan and played right the way through school there. So yeah, that took me through to here where I am now.
Stuff. And your year at Sullivan were decent enough. Then you got to that, not the Schools Cup final, but the other one.
The final, yeah.
He's win that one.
It was all right. Like, it was at the club, so it was decent day.
Conor, you're I suppose you were born and raised. You can tell us, but Letterkenny man, or your story's a wee bit different. Probably not a non-traditional rugby school. So if you want, you fill us in. How do you get
rugby? Yeah, mine's probably a wee bit different to Mckee's. I grew up probably playing Gaelic and rugby at once. Started both of them when I was about 4, and then I played rugby the whole way up through Letterkenny Rugby Club till I was about 18. So that was the whole way through, and I played both until I was 18, and then through then I went straight into City Derry first to play some AIL just before I left school. And then that kind of brings you up to now. Left City Derry, moved on then and went into senior rugby in Belfast.
Good stuff. And at that stage, did you have much, like, what was your involvement with Ulster Rugby underage? Did you have much with that, McMenimen?
Yeah, I was brought in, let's say, when I was about 15, 14, brought into kind of under 16 squads, and then worked up through there, through the summer programs or the nights up in Maherfeld on a Monday or whatever.
Okay, cool.
Worked up through 18s, 19s, and then into the sort of A team.
So you went through the sort of club side of it, I suppose, as opposed to the school side that Mckee would have been involved with, really. Did you two guys see each other? At what stage did you two come into contact with each other? That have been
not an awful lot, to be fair. It was probably the summer where I was leaving school, and we were both leaving school there, where we merged. You're a birth year above me, so even for our schools and stuff, you would have played the birth year above me.
Yeah, I think also one time, I think whenever I was under 18 clubs and Mckee was under 17 schools, I remember playing them out in the back pitches in Ballymena Academy.
Oh, nice.
There must have been about 50, 60 points in them, I'd say. Nice, that was my first encounter with him.
Okay, good job. So look, it's great. It's good to see two guys here. Just an example of two guys in the elite athlete program. Obviously now doing really well within your rugby within Queen's, but you just come up two different routes, and that's great to see. And I suppose from my point of view, it's good that we are seeing a bit more of that. It's not just the guys playing in traditional schools of rugby. It's they're coming through different paths, and it's great to see. Tell us a wee bit about Queen's and being a student. Like, what are you studying? So Mckee, start with you again. What course are you doing, and I suppose why did you decide on that? Really?
Yeah, I'm doing maths with finance, so it's tough enough, to be fair. But maths was always something coming through school that I kind of found pretty easy naturally. But to be fair, it's a good bit harder now. But and then the finance side of that's also pretty interesting. So it's something I hadn't really done much of in school, but it's pretty interesting.
Very cool. Hey, man, what about yourself?
Yeah, similar to me, I do mechanical engineering, so a tough enough course as well. But similar to Mckee, I probably thrived with maths and stuff in school as well. It always came fairly second nature to me, and I always kind of knew that I wanted to go into something sort of mathematical or engineering. So it was really just a process of elimination what I wanted to do, and I ended up going with engineering just based off what my dad does.
Okay, brilliant. how do you find the balance of that? So for your course and your rugby, so Mckee, what's yours like? Is it quite heavy in terms of the studying, and how do you balance that, or what's that like?
Yeah, to be fair, last year, I know the first semester it was just when I was in training with Ulster there, so that would have been a few times a week or a few days a week, and like I was able to do my early morning training with them and then go to classes, so they worked around it quite nicely. But then sort of going into the second half of the year when I was in with the Irish 20s, it was pretty difficult, to be fair, just with the amount I was away. But that's where the academic flexibility there that I was able to get really helped out. So I was able to reschedule a few tests and stuff and do them at a later date. So it didn't miss out on too much, to be fair.
Conor says, same to you. I know obviously your schedule it's getting heavier, like with your Ulster A stuff going on, and so how have you been finding it, really balancing everything?
Yeah, well, last year wasn't too bad. You know, I suppose Queens and Ulster both worked around it pretty nicely with the early morning stuff before my lectures and then after my lectures as well. So that wasn't too bad. And then this year now, I suppose, a bit more full on, being involved with the sort of A squad. So we're training, you know, most days a week. So I suppose Queens are quite good in that way, where like obviously for me the academic flexibility comes in really well whenever, you know, we have a game. Just say we had a game in Galway there a few weeks ago where I left on the Thursday, came back on the Saturday. So then an exam on the Friday. So Queens were happy enough to reschedule that for me. So it's sort of small stuff like that there, just being able to work around both schedules.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So like that's one of the main benefits really of the elite athlete program or the rugby academy is where we get the use the academic flexibility policy within in Queens, and it works well for these guys. It gets them helps them balance everything that's going on. So it's good to hear, guys. You've obviously benefited from that, and that's the whole point of the program. You know, it's make sure you guys can do the best on the pitch and in the classroom. Okay, so guys, that's great. So I suppose in terms of Queens now, you've both been playing a little while. Conor Mckee, you've been here 2 seasons now. McMenimen, this was more your first season, really. I know it hasn't really got off the great start, but you can still talk a little bit about Queens rugby. So Mckee, like, what's good about Queens rugby? What's a little bit, I suppose, special about it? Makes it really good for you as a player?
Yeah, I think coming in my first year, it was just so easy to come in and get involved. Like there were so many guys just around sort of the same age as me, guys leaving school or a couple of years out. So there's plenty of familiar faces, just guys that I'd been playing against the whole way through school and even playing with. So that made it pretty easy. Like there was no real awkwardness coming in. And then just sort of the social side of it as well. Like you see, it's so good to get out on a Saturday night with all those boys as well, just after a game. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably the bit I enjoy about the most about the club. Like.
So, McMenimen, I suppose same thing to you about Queen's Rugby. Like, what are you enjoying about it? Mckee spoke about sort of the age demographic there and social side of it. Like, that same for you, or is there other aspects that you are enjoying? I know you only started really in pre-season, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's probably similar enough sort of situation to Mckee. Like coming in, even in comparison to other clubs I've been with before, it's much more welcoming sort of atmosphere, just purely because sort of age profile of the team. Like most people are kind of in the same stage of life as you, like people on your course or people you would have played through the age grades of Ulster with and stuff. So that's like probably one of the biggest bonuses of playing with Queens. And then I suppose also our probably style of play probably resembles like the age we are as well, where it's a lot more freedom than most other clubs, and it's probably a lot more enjoyable to play in. Just knowing, firstly, you're playing a good brand of rugby, and then secondly, you're actually playing with people who kind of get you in the same stage of life, so you probably play for each other more than.
Okay, great. No, that's good to hear. Okay, so I suppose now to finish up, I just want to ask you is pretty simply like what's your goals? Like what do you want to achieve while at Queens? I'm talking really about your course and obviously about Queens Rugby. Like what would you love to achieve while here with us? Okay.
Yeah, like I know in first year or my first year at the club, like we narrowly missed out on promotion there. Just so COVID kind of came in and ruled out the IIL, and there was only sort of 3 or 4 games to go, and we were in a pretty nice position. So then going into my second year, like that was the goal. Like, right, we're going to go for promotion. It's obviously COVID's kind of dragged that out a bit, so that's not going to happen this year. But ultimately, next year, hopefully, when things back to usual on the rugby side of things, that's kind of what I would like to achieve on the pitch, and then also that'll take me into my last year of my course. So just to kind of get through that, maintaining the rugby on the side, and yeah, come out with a good degree.
McMenimen, same to you.
Yeah, very similar response to Mckee. I suppose coming in, I knew the quality Queens had, and I suppose playing with them, it's quite evident. Like 2A probably isn't the division we belong in. Should be more 1B, 1A sort of standard, especially going unbeaten through against all the other Ulster teams this year. So that's probably the main focus over the next few years would be to push Queens into higher divisions and better honours, I suppose. And then off the field would be obviously first goal to finish my degree with a good grade and come out with a good degree, and then push on the rugby side of things as well. Obviously use Queens and its platform to push on rugby wise, like whether it's with Ulster or whoever.